Hey, good morning to everybody. Happy Saturday. It's Daryl here. It is bright and freaking early, man. It's 3 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. Okay, this is probably going to be kind of a hard video to do. I don't know how this is going to go over. I want to talk about an incident that happened here on YouTube to a very popular 18-year-old popular gamer and internet personality, 18-year-old guy. And here's the problem that I'm going to be facing with this video is I got about 3,700 viewers now, or subscribers. And most of those people probably, I'm guessing, because if I look at my analytics, I don't think there's hardly anybody that's 18 years old or even in their 20s that are really watching my channel. Most of the people watching my channel are like 30, 40, 50, 60. So they probably won't know the incident that I'm talking about, even though it's been in the news. And then the people that do see his name, ISHOWSPEED, they do see that and click onto my channel, they won't know who I am. You see, so his viewers won't know who I am, and my viewers won't know who he is. That sums it up. So that's the issue that I'm facing here, but I really need to talk about this. Now, he's a popular gamer and internet personality, 18 years old. He's got almost 20 million subscribers just here on YouTube. Like I said, I've got 3,500. And I thought about when I saw the latest update on what happened to him, which I'll get into in a second, I realized that I could share some of my life experience with the situation that he's going through. Some things really came to mind that I really wanted to talk about. Plus, there's actually things that we have in common. 18-year-old gamer and 57-year-old guy. Oh, I should probably update. I should probably tell you guys then. If they're his viewers that saw the title here, I am Daryl, aka Artist in Recovery. I've got almost 17 years clean and sober. I'm an artist. Most of my videos have to do with politics. I'm liberal, progressive. I talk a lot about recovery and changing my life. I've gone through a lot of tough stuff, which I've talked about in the recent videos, where just in the last couple of years, I lost my soulmate, my ex-girlfriend, and I was homeless for a while. And this will come into, there's a reason I'm talking about this. Okay, so let me get into the story here. This is an 18-year-old internet gamer. Darren Watkins is his real name. His YouTube name is ISHOWSPEED, all one word, ISHOWSPEED. There was an incident. Like I said, a lot of people watch this. I don't know anything about gaming, but when I saw him do the recent video, when he just came back onto YouTube, I felt like I needed to talk about this a little bit. I just want to share some of I feel for him, and plus, I got one or two things, just thoughts, advice from the extra 30, 40 years I've got on this earth. Just some thoughts. Okay, so he was doing his thing on YouTube, playing a game, like internet game, and he got very excited, and he jumped up, and apparently he had loose-fitting clothing down below, and he wasn't wearing undergarments. And when he jumped up, his boy parts, his parts came. He jumped up, and he was exposed right to the camera. After that, it was obviously an accident. If you watch it at all, I don't know this guy, but I see the look on his face. It looks. I see his eyes, and I could tell it was an accident. And I guess he's going, oh my God. And then he cut the feed, and he went dark up until just this latest video that I'm going to talk about. And I'll have the links to all this down below so you can watch this. I'll put the link to the latest video where he talks about this. Okay, so he comes back on after going dark for a while. And of course, the big fear here is that, this person has 20 million subscribers. And I don't know his monetization or whatever, but so he's terrified, that he's going to lose it to somebody like him or somebody like me. It's like a job. And when that happens, that YouTube is like YouTube's like a god, you know, and this stuff is like this happened to me. I've broken YouTube policies, and I didn't even know. And the next day I go to download my video, and it's just all of a sudden it says you can't download for a week or for 3 months or something like that. And I get this stabbing feeling in my gut, you know, because for me it's a very small source of income. For this guy, I'm sure it's a huge source of income. It's a huge part of his life. It's his job, his social world, his popularity. You know, and I can understand I can't even imagine, you know, because the panic when he realized what happened. Because with a situation like this, YouTube could just shut the channel down. And this is the thing with YouTube that I've noticed. It's like just like the word from God. Like all of a sudden, you're banned, you're YouTube, you're suspended, and you can't talk to anybody. I think I've been able to like explain, you know, like a couple sentences, and then a decision will be handed down, but you don't get to talk to any person. You don't get to explain. You might get to briefly explain your side, but that's about it. You know, there's no person. It's just like this decision handed down by this huge authority, you know. And I've talked about this before, you know, like with 3 strikes. That's why I don't do anything with copyright here, because it's hard to tell exactly, you know, to put a song or a movie clip on here. I've gotten strikes for that before. And if you get 3 strikes in a 6-month period, your YouTube channel's gone forever. Just go, you know, forget it. Never coming back. You know, like I said, this is a small channel here, but having 20 million subscribers, and you know, and I can't imagine the revenue this guy makes from this, and his, you know, his life and his family. This is just, you know, his job, what he's become accustomed to, and all of a sudden, bam, you know, it's got to be terrifying. Okay, so that's what happened. He comes back on, and this is I figured this was probably what I would have done too. When that happened, he deleted he deleted the video right away that showed this, which was what I would have done. And then he comes back on, and this is the video that I really want to talk about, because he starts gaming, I guess, and people are busting him. They're calling him, instead of ISHOWSPEED, they're saying ISHOWMEAT, which I'm sure some people, trolls, really think is very clever, you know. And like I said, I have that same thing. You know, he's a magnitudes bigger than me as far as the channel and trolls and all that. But so eventually he talks about it, and he kind of just breaks down. And he goes, I wrote down what he's saying here, and you can watch the video yourself. So he comes back on, he does his thing, he starts gaming, and people are busting him constantly in the scrolling comments behind him. And eventually he just breaks down, and he goes, you know, like, dude, I'm a human being. You know, you have no idea how much this has affected my life. He goes, this is a truly embarrassing moment for me. I've been suffering mentally, bro, genuinely. I'm still a human being. It's my worst fear. And it's what I'm feeling right now. And then he talks, this is something too that people probably don't realize. He talks about his younger siblings. And there's been times on here where after I've done a video, you know, a lot of times I'm honest to a fault. You know, I figure if I'm telling the truth, you know, so be it. And then after I do the video, I realized, you know, for not just me, but for other people, I have second thoughts about what I said, you know, about, you know, embarrassment or how my family might feel about the stuff I talked about. I've actually had conversations with my family about this, not in the recent past. You know, so I all of a sudden I put myself in this guy's place. You know, my sister, you know, if I was him and this happened to me and my sister, my mom saw this, I can't imagine how I would feel. You know, so he's just trying to tell his, you know, they're busting him, and he just breaks down and just says, you know, look, and he talks about it. And that's the same thing I would do here. A lot of times I have trolls making comments, and I've always said I don't reward bad behavior. You know, a lot of times these people are just looking to be noticed. I know I could see that, and the less that I acknowledge them, the more adamant they get about being heard. You know, until it gets to, like I said, one guy, I just kept ignoring him, and he doxed me, started putting my phone number all over the comments. So then when it gets to a point, you have to talk about it. And so I understand why he did this. So he says, yeah, so he talks about his siblings. This is one thing he said, and this is something I can see myself doing. He's, because like I said, being honest, he's talking about how this happened. And he said, dude, I didn't have any clean underwear that day. And I could hear myself saying that. And that's one of those things where after I did the video, there's being honest, and there's being honest to a fault, like I said. And, that's being honest to a fault, because, I understand why he said it, because he's trying to explain exactly how this happened. This is just being honest, putting it all on the table, so to speak. And, that's just being honest to a fault. Here's what I want to say to this dude. He talks about how sometimes I ask myself why this shit happens. Because he says, he just woke up and he didn't have clean underwear, and it's like a set of circumstances that led up to this horrifying moment. And as I know exactly what he's talking about, all the stuff that, as you get older, like once I got into recovery, I've talked about this before, I used to lie, cheat, and steal. As soon as I got into recovery, I thought my life was going to be relatively smooth. I'm doing the right thing. I'm not doing, I'm being honest. I'm doing the right thing. I'm working. I'm being a good, honest American citizen. And, then I found, bad things, terrible things still happen. And that's one of the things that I had to come to terms with. Life, that's just life, man. And I've talked about this before, and I know telling this dude now, ISHOWSPEED, there's going to be positive things that come out of this, and that's what you have to look for. I know when my girlfriend died, or when I was homeless, if somebody told me, there's going to be positive things out of this, I would want to smack them, but it's the truth. For, like they say, for every cloud, there's a silver lining, and that is seriously true. Okay. It's like I said, so as I saw this 18-year-old gamer, going through this turmoil, trying to explain to people, they're busting and, they're making fun of this incident. And it was a horrifying, I could relate to him. I could understand it, And at 18 years old, like I said, I have a little more experience. And he asked himself, these things that led up to this. And that's one of those things you're going to do. Like you get into a car accident and you say, why did I have that last cup of coffee? If I just left the house 30 seconds earlier or 30 seconds later, if I didn't have that cup of coffee, if I could have found my keys, I wouldn't have been on the road. I wouldn't have gotten in that car accident, terrible things like that. And all throughout your life, stuff like this is going to happen. And here's the thing, there's no rhyme or reason to it. It's going to happen, and it's just best not to torture yourself over this and say, what if? You're going to do this, and it's going to happen. Like I said, with my girlfriend passing away, she drove down to Florida. And this was pretty much a result of me and her getting an argument over getting married. And then she passed away from COVID. And now to this day, I still have this guilt because I say to myself, well, if I wasn't such an ass and I didn't get into this argument with her and I married her, which I wish to God I did now, she wouldn't have gone to Florida. She wouldn't have got COVID and she wouldn't have died. So it's my fault that she died. And I still live with that today. That's one of those things. So I can give you this advice, but it's hard. It's easy to give the advice, but it's hard for me to take my own advice. So that's some of the stuff I wanted to say. Now, there's just one more thing that I noticed about this video, and I have to talk about this because he's telling everybody this was an accident. Stop busting my butt about this. Okay, now I hope this is the first thing I noticed when I watched this. He wasn't wearing a shirt in this video. Now, I don't know if this is common. I don't know if a lot of gamers are bare-chested. I don't know if he's bare-chested a lot. But if you're going to come back from an incident like this where you accidentally showed nudity and then you sit, it's best if you just wore a shirt, dude. I know you probably didn't realize this when you did this video, but for somebody like me watching this, it looks like you're sitting there naked. It does. So you're coming on and saying, dude, this was an accident. I showed nudity by mistake and everything. But for people that are watching this, you look like you're sitting there naked. It was a bad, I'm saying this with all heart intended. It was, in the future, it was a bad choice to sit there, to go on this video shirtless. You know, I know you're wearing pants, and I know you're probably wearing pants and everything, but it looks like you're naked, and it looks like you're sitting there complaining that, you know, and I'm saying this just heart to heart. You know, it was a bad choice. That was one bad choice, really. To some people that don't know you or don't know, you know, gaming or whatever, it sticks out. Just like I said, just constructive criticism. All right, the links will be down below so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. I hope the people that watch me understood what I explained, and the people that watch him at least enjoyed my video. Have a good Saturday.